She didn't raise her voice when she said it. She didn't need to. The silence that followed was louder than anything she could have shouted. "You're so low class compared to my ex." Margot Thornton smiled when she said it. Not the kind of smile people give when they are joking. The kind that lands carefully like it was meant to stay. Every fork in the room paused midair. Every conversation folded into itself. And for a moment, even the soft music in the background felt like it had stepped back to listen. My name is Harrison Cole, and until that exact second, I believed I was about to marry the right person. The rehearsal dinner was held at a private dining room in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. The kind of place where the lighting is low, the glassware is thin, and every table feels like it belongs to people who never worry about money. Margot's parents, Gregory Thornton and Elise Thornton, sat at the head of the table. Old Charleston family, the kind of legacy that doesn't need to introduce itself. Across from them sat my parents, David Cole and Patricia Cole. My father had spent 30 years running a small construction company. My mother still kept the original receipts from when they couldn't afford their first home. I remember watching my mother's hand freeze around her glass. I remember my father looking down, not at his plate, but somewhere past it. Margot leaned back in her chair like nothing had happened, like she had just commented on the weather. I didn't respond right away, not because I didn't have something to say, but because I was trying to understand if I had just imagined it. "Harrison, you're quiet," she added, tilting her head slightly. There was a softness in her tone that almost made it worse, like the cruelty had already been decided, and now she was just observing the result. "I heard you," I said. I kept my voice steady, not because I felt calm, but because losing control in that moment would have made me exactly what she had just described. Margot gave a small laugh. "Oh, don't be sensitive." Sensitive. The word settled into the room differently than the insult had. The insult had shocked people. The word sensitive excused it. Across the table, Nolan Prescott, one of Margot's longtime friends, shifted in his chair. He avoided eye contact. Sloane Harrington, her cousin, looked down at her napkin, carefully folding it, as if the symmetry mattered more than the moment. No one spoke. No one challenged her. That was the first time I realized something I hadn't wanted to see before. This wasn't new behavior. It was just the first time it had been aimed directly at me in public. I looked at Margot, really looked at her, and for the first time, I saw something behind the confidence. Not strength, not certainty, control. "Do you want to explain what you meant?" I asked. It wasn't an accusation. It was an invitation. Margot leaned forward slightly, resting her elbows on the table. "My ex, Julian Whitfield, understood the world I come from," she said. "He knew how to present himself. He didn't." She paused, and in that pause I felt something shift. Struggled to keep up. There it was. Not just a comparison. A positioning. I wasn't her partner. I was something she had chosen to elevate. And now, in front of everyone, she was reconsidering that choice out loud. Before we go any further, pause for a moment and think about this. If you were sitting there in Harrison's position, would you defend yourself immediately, or would you stay quiet and observe what this moment reveals about everyone in the room? Because what happens next depends on that decision. I didn't respond to her directly. Instead, I turned slightly toward her parents. "Mr. Thornton," I said calmly, "did you agree with that?" The question landed differently. Gregory Thornton wasn't used to being addressed like that. Not in a room he paid for. He adjusted his posture. Not defensive. Measured. "Elise and I believe in standards," he said carefully. Standards. Another word that sounded neutral, but carried weight. "And those standards include public humiliation?" I asked. The room tightened again. Margot's expression shifted. Not dramatically, but enough. She hadn't expected me to redirect the conversation. Elise Thornton spoke this time. "We're discussing compatibility," she said. Compatibility. A softer version of the same idea. I nodded slowly. "I agree," I said. "We are." I reached for my glass. Not because I needed a drink, but because I needed a second to choose the next sentence carefully. "Margot," I said, turning back to her. "Why did you say that tonight?" Not why she believed it. Why now? That question mattered more. Margot hesitated, and that hesitation told me more than anything she could have said. "This is just honesty," she replied. But it wasn't. Honesty doesn't wait for an audience. Honesty doesn't choose timing that guarantees maximum impact. This was something else, a performance. And suddenly, everything from the past year rearranged itself in my mind. The subtle corrections, the comments about my clothes, the way she would introduce me with a slight pause, as if she needed to adjust the version of me she was presenting. I had ignored all of it, because individually, each moment was small. But together, they formed something clear. She didn't respect me. And more importantly, she didn't need to hide it anymore. The dinner continued around us, but no one was really eating. Conversations resumed, but they were thinner. Careful. I stayed quiet for the rest of the evening. Not out of defeat, out of clarity. Because for the first time, I wasn't trying to fix anything. I was observing it. When the dinner ended, people left quickly. Goodbyes were shorter than usual. Margot and I stood outside the restaurant under the warm Charleston night. "You made that awkward," she said. There was no apology, just a complaint about the outcome. "I didn't say anything," I replied. "You didn't need to," she said. That was the closest she came to acknowledging what had happened. I looked at her again, and this time, there was no confusion. "Why are you marrying me?" I asked. It wasn't emotional. It was direct. Margot frowned slightly. "What kind of question is that?" "A real one," I said. She crossed her arms. "Because I chose you," she said. "Chose. Not loved. Not respected. Chose. Like a selection. Like a decision she could revise." That was the moment everything settled. The uncertainty was gone. The only thing left was action. The next morning, I woke up before sunrise. The house we had rented for the wedding weekend was quiet. I packed my bag slowly. Not dramatically. Not angrily. Deliberately. Each item I folded felt like a decision being confirmed. When Margot woke up, I was sitting by the window. She looked at the suitcase first, then at me. "What are you doing?" she asked. Her voice was calm, but not because she was calm, because she didn't believe what she was seeing yet. "I'm leaving," I said. "No, you're not," she replied immediately. That response was instinctive, not thoughtful, like reality hadn't caught up to her yet. "I am," I said. She stood there processing. "This is about last night?" she asked. It wasn't a question. It was a minimization. "This is about everything that led to last night," I said. Margot stepped closer. "You're overreacting," she said. There was again the same pattern. Dismiss. Reduce. Control. "I don't think I am," I replied. She studied my face, and for the first time, I saw something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. "Do you really think you'll find someone better?" she asked. Better. The same scale she had used at the dinner. The same framework. And in that moment, I understood something clearly. This wasn't about me proving anything. It was about refusing to participate in a system that measured people like that. Before we continue, think about this carefully. Would you stay and try to fix a relationship where respect has already been publicly broken? Or would you walk away even if it means losing everything you planned? Because that choice defines more than just the relationship. "I'm not looking for better," I said. "I'm looking for different." Margot didn't respond. Not immediately. Because for the first time, she didn't have a response that would maintain control. I picked up my bag, and I walked out. There was no dramatic goodbye. No final argument. Just a decision carried through. The wedding was canceled that afternoon. There were conversations, explanations, speculation, but none of them mattered as much as that moment at the dinner, because that was the moment everything true had already been said. Months later, I heard that Margot had reconnected with Julian Whitfield. It didn't surprise me. Some patterns don't change. They just circle back. As for me, I didn't rush into anything new. Not because I was afraid, but because I finally understood the difference between being chosen and being valued. And once you understand that difference, you don't settle for anything less.